The collaboration that we have in this region was best captured last year, last vintage. So we ended up with good 1/3 of our people down. And straight away we had 2 or 3 people that were sent from other wineries to help us finish vintage. And I thought that was the sweetest thing that's ever happened. I'm Elena Brooks. I am the winemaker and owner of Dandelion Vineyards here in McLaren Vale. In Dandelion Vineyards, our winemaking ethos has always been about capturing the time and place of a vineyard as such, and the wine to be that picture of it, I suppose. And it is important, even if we're working with 100-year-old vineyards, we don't take on the tradition, we try to evolve it. I love simply just saying that Dandelion is modern wines for the modern palate. It's about us existing right now. It's about what we drink, how we drink, what we like, and how we entertain, and what does wine mean to us, not to the generation before us or the generation after us. So it's very much a picture in time, isn't it? I've always said from the beginning of arriving in McLaren Vale, which was for vintage 2001, I was embraced by the entire region as a family member, really. Straight away invited to a beautiful Christmas party with Greg Trott, for example, at his house, or helped out around the region to, whether it was to find accommodation or get on a job interview after university. But for me, the collaboration that we have in this region was best captured last year, last vintage 2025, was a bit of a difficult one for us in the winery because we had a lot of injuries. Like someone dropped a weight in the gym on their foot and broke toes. Someone tripped and kind of twisted an ankle. And so we ended up with good 1/3 of our people down. At that stage, we rang around the winery saying, can you help us out? Is there anyone who's available to come and work, finish off vintage for us? And straight away, we had 2 or 3 people that were sent from other wineries to help us finish vintage. And I thought that was the sweetest thing that's ever happened. The most important decision is when to pick, for me, because it influences what is in the glass. Riesling has a window of only about 3 or 4 days. Past that, it might be too ripe. Before that, you don't have the aromatics as strongly. So it is a very small window where it's optimal. And that is truly the one thing that will influence what we're tasting. And not only what we're tasting straight after we make the wine, but for the years and years to come. The coastline for McLaren Vale is incredibly important for our weather and our climate as such. Today, where we're sitting, we're right on top of the hill, so hill face zone, what we call it, so protected area, absolutely beautiful. But there's this beautiful breeze that's coming from the ocean. Now, the reason why that's important is we've just had about 3 or 4 days of super high humidity with a lot of rain. There will be a huge disease pressure. Whereas we're sitting with this beautiful breeze, just drying out the ground and not creating that kind of humidity and environment where disease can breed. So for that reason, it allows us to have a lot of organic and biodynamic vineyards in McLaren Vale. We're here sitting on 60 acres of biodynamic vineyard. We could only allow to do that in McLaren Vale as such because of the proximity to the water. And for that reason, McLaren Vale is one of the world's largest planted sustainable wine growing regions, like, for example, organics, biodynamics. Sustainability full stop is so important for us. But the beautiful coastline, that's what allows us to have that. One of the really, really fun stories that we do tell here at the Wonder Room is our kind of geology. McLaren Vale is set on an amazing old soil types as such. And things like, for example, again, we're up on the hill, up here on the hills face zone as such, but these are rocks that come from our vineyard. This particular one is ironstone, but it has these pebbles. When there's pebbles, it means that we've been underwater. So this beautiful ground up on the hill was actually once upon a time underwater, and that's how pebbles happen. But what I love showing people is taste the wine that comes from these soils, especially here in the Wander Room, because my winemaking side is definitely kind of hands-off and trying to express the land as such. So the faraway tree, the Grenache, comes from this ironstone. It is absolutely amazing to smell the rock and smell the wine. They're almost identical, this beautiful ferrous kind of blood type. It's really, really seductive and minerally. In McLaren Vale, I love the Touriga because it is so perfumed, but we just recently made a Fiano, and a Fiano was a variety that I used to work in Italy with, and I think that gives me an advantage of actually thinking of what Fiano should look like, and it's given us a little bit of a boost of excitement. I love the Mediterranean varieties in McLaren Vale and what they can do, because it's fun. And as a winemaker, well, you don't want to be doing the same thing over and over again. Yes, you can, but I find the excitement of, every vintage, a new chapter that you can do. It's almost like a beautiful TV series on Netflix or something like that. The new season can have a new character in it. I'm allowed to introduce only 2 new characters a year, and that is something that's been put on by my wonderful co-workers as a rule. So I wouldn't say there's a particular wine variety. I think I'm just excited all the time and always ready to make something new. I always tell visitors, and it is something I hope they take on and they tell this story. I look out there and I like to tell them that that's it. That's McLaren Vale. That's all there is. That there aren't miles and miles and miles of it. This is it. That's all it is. A little bit of Blue Springs just over there, but that's it. And there's not really much more land to plant. Yes, there's a little bit, but not a lot more. So every single bottle that anyone can get of McLaren Vale should treasure it, because it is limited. It just comes from just those lands in front of us, and just the fact that it's such a well-priced bottle of wine for the quality that is in it and how limited it is. In any other country, that bottle of wine would be at least 5 times the price. So I make that point to people, how important it is to understand that it's a small region, and one day McLaren Vale would be one of those regions where people would be going, you remember when we used to drink McLaren Vale Shiraz for $25? Now it's $125. So I always tell people treasure it, because this is special. The most unique feature of McLaren Vale is its lifestyle. I think it captures, I still have not met a person that has come here and said, oh, I'm bored, I'm just gonna go home. It is something quite unique. It is where time truly stands still. It is so much happening all the time, so it's not like we're doing nothing, but in the same time, if you describe to someone what we do, it sounds like we're doing nothing. Beach, food, amazing beach, amazing food, amazingly friendly people, and it's just wonderful. Amazingly diverse people as well. But the lifestyle is truly incredible here. And time after time, people come from overseas and are absolutely amazed that this exists, and we just live here.